Let's talk about leadership today. Let's talk about growing your business to the next level by multiplying your efforts through building a strong team. That's what our Thursdays are all about here when we talk about leadership and come together. But the first rule of leadership is this. If you're ready to write this down, it's as simple as this. Leadership is relationships. The growth of your leadership is in direct proportion to the number of relationships that you develop. So one of the best books I would recommend for anyone who wants to grow their leadership to the next level is Winning with People by John Maxwell. Winning with People by John Maxwell is like today's How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, which is still an incredible book. But of course, that was written almost 30 years ago. And there it is. Lou's got it. He's sporting Winning with People, one of my favorite books in the world. And in John Maxwell's book, he says that we must love people regardless of what they can give in return. We have got to love people and love our team as they come to us exactly as they are without expecting anything in return from them. I know some leaders that are conditional leaders. Conditional leaders are those that say, I will only treat this person with respect and kindness and attention if they produce for me. That's backwards thinking. That's backwards thinking. And we have to love everyone that comes on board the team, because that's the secret to this business and this industry. It's to have a lot of people doing a simple few easy, simple things consistently over time with a good attitude in our particular industry of networking, right? So when it comes to building a team, we cannot have conditional leadership. If you want to grow a big team, you can't be picky. Beggars can't be choosers. Maybe if you have a huge, gargantuous team, then you get to choose who you work with because you only have so much time, and then you're only working with your creme de la creme. But until you get there, and even while you are there, you want to love everybody and make them feel love regardless of what they give back in return. And this principle just goes in every area of life. In fact, a lot of people say, well, I'm afraid to spend time and attention and resources on someone that I don't believe is going to develop into be a great leader. Well, then why did you bring them into the business anyway? Right? We have to believe in everyone's unlimited human potential. We need to get out that past programming. We need to get over the people who have disappointed us in the past. I know I've been disappointed so many times in the past where I've invested time and became best buddies with somebody, and then they just changed routes and decided not to do the business anymore. Heartbreaking, really. And I mean, Lou and I were just talking about a good friend of ours who decided to pursue something else in depth. And I said to him, Lou, I can't lie. I can't say that I'm not 100% brokenhearted and disappointed, right? That they're choosing to do something else, but that's life and that's business. It's okay. And so here's another thought you want to think about, is that it's better to have loved and lost than have never loved at all. Would you agree? It's better to have loved and lost and got your heart broken after having invested in that relationship and being disappointed than to have never loved at all. So I want everybody to take a moment and close your eyes. Just stop what you're doing and close your eyes. And I want you to imagine a room filled with people, room totally packed to the gills. Is it the size of a small conference room? It could be the size of a briefing room. It could be the size of a huge convention filled with people. Now imagine that they're all on your team. Imagine that. How do you think that you will get there? Do you think that you're going to get there by criticizing, nitpicking people, picking on everything that they do wrong, judging them by the actions that they don't take? No, we are building a family by unconditionally loving people for exactly who they are, while believing in their best and telling them that they're going to be amazing and telling them that they're amazing. You can open your eyes now. Now, that is the secret to developing leaders. You can develop followers or you can develop leaders. And those who develop leaders that I've seen better than anybody else that just develop followers are those who speak life into, who encourage people and show them the vision of how great that they can become. Show them the vision of where they're going and where they're, what they can do to really put a big impact on this world. Darnell Self was at my house a few weeks ago. Let me tell you how special that was. Lois was there, right? We had a great time. We had a cheesecake. It was amazing. But Darnell Self said that you always want to be casting the vision and using the words, just imagine when. So for example, he's had people that have called him and said, hey, thanks for everything, but I just don't know if I have the time to do this. I just don't know if I want to do this anymore, if I've got the bandwidth to do this. I'm not sure if this is for me, but thanks anyway. And he said, I want to encourage you. Don't get discouraged. Just imagine you're gonna be job free this summer, right? Just imagine when you get to retire your spouse next year. Just imagine once you've replaced your full-time income, how less stressed out and overwhelmed you'll be. Just imagine. So we need to paint that vision for them. And that's how you build a big team. So that is rule number 1 when it comes to developing relationships in your leadership development. Rule number 2 is we love everyone, but we wait for no one. We love everyone unconditionally, but we wait for no one. And so what I mean by that is there's going to be people that you're, inviting to come to the trainings, inviting to do this, to take action, giving them their assignment, and then they just don't do anything. And there's only so much of pulling the donkey who's thirsty but doesn't want to come to the water, right? You're trying to get them to the water, but there's only so much encouragement and begging that you can do. You're always going to continue to encourage them and you're always going to continue to love them, but you do not want to wait for them. Because if you're waiting for your existing team to get you to where you need to go, if your existing team is producing $400 a month in premium sales and you need to get to $1,400 a month, well, maybe if everybody muscled it and gave 1,000% effort for 1 month, they could do it. But then the next month and the month after that and the month after that and the years after that and the decade after that, that is not sustainable for that team that is a $400 premium team. If you want to get to a $1,400 premium team, you got to recruit the difference. So you're going to love everybody, but wait for no one and bring on new people and develop them, okay? The beauty of this business is that it's just a business of accumulation. We're here to accumulate members, which will eventually bring you a passive residual income. And we're here to accumulate a team, which will eventually give you a big leveraged income and more time freedom. So love everyone, but wait for no one. And then rule number 3 is to lead by example. The best way to help your team that you love, that you're encouraging. Leadership is easy. It's just 2 things, really. Leadership is saying nice things to people, encouraging them and cheering them on, okay? And then leading by example and showing them the way. Leaders, good leaders, show their people how. They don't just say, you go do it, and I'm going to sit here and watch on my throne and eat my bonbons. No, you show them how you're doing it. Don't tell your people what to do. Tell your people what you just did today. Is it more motivating for me to say, hey, you should go to Starbucks and hand out your business cards to people? Or is it more motivating for me to say, oh my God, I just got back from Starbucks and there was this realtor standing in line with me and they were wearing a red tie. And I'm like, oh, you look so sharp. Where'd you get the tie? Oh, I got it from Nordstrom's. Wow, what do you do? I'm in real estate. Oh, well, what do you do? Well, I do Legal Shield. What's that? Well, let me give you my card and we should get together and network. Are you free tomorrow? Let's meet back at the Starbucks. Yes. Oh, I booked an appointment. What's more motivating? Me telling you what to go do or me telling you what I just did? So leading by example is so key. And, leaders leading by example applies to every area in our life. Our kids learn by watching us. When we come home, I immediately hang up my jacket. And so the kids take off their jacket, they hang up their jacket. Well, Dave comes home and takes off his shoes and socks and sticks the socks on the middle of the living room carpet. And so what do the kids do? The kids take off their shoes and then they put their socks on. I got socks all over my living room carpet. Anyway, okay. So they just do what you show them you're doing. They think it's acceptable. They think it's okay. Well, Dad's doing it and he's not getting in trouble right now. I can do it too. So we need to do the same with our team. And when you ask someone to do something that you're not willing to do, they quietly lose respect for you. I mean, I've experienced that before where people have lost respect for me. And I have lost respect for people quietly. I still love the person, but they're asking me to go do something that they're not willing to do. It's kind of like, okay, well, you know what I'm saying? Now, what if you're in a situation? What if you're in a situation where you just can't do the thing, but you don't want to hold back your team from being able to have those benefits? Well, then get out of the way and point them towards a leader who is doing it, because we want to empower the person. We don't want to be in their way. But the warning I will give you about that is that the longer that you're taking the time to step up and be the leader, the longer you're stunting your growth. The longer it's taking you to step up and to take ownership and just be the leader yourself stunts your growth. And what I mean by that is, if you're depending on your leader to lead your team, your leader wants to help you as much as they can, but their bandwidth is only so much. They got phone numbers flying at them, phone calls calling them all day. They've got their own schedule. They've got all their prospects that they've got to follow up with. They've got to hit their performance club. They've got to help all the rest of their team, right? But while you're waiting for the leader to initiate, you could have already gone out and slayed a bunch of memberships and helped your team close business. Does that make sense? So we want to step up and become the leader sooner than later, and that comes by leading by example. Leading by example. So when you take leadership into your own hands, you will start to unleash the power within you and within your team. And guess what? By you stepping up and being the leader and not waiting for your leadership to initiate, guess what that gives your team permission to do? It gives your team permission to step up and become independent of you as well, and for them to become leaders of their own, to go out there and help more people. And so you then become the leader of leaders instead of a leader of followers. And if you want to build big and you want to build fast and strong, learn to develop leaders. I'm so proud of every single one of you who are here. Keep coming back on Thursdays. Start inviting your team to come join us, and look forward to big things.